December has been a very good month across the auto pack, two-wheelers, four-wheelers and tractors alike. But to discuss more on these numbers and what to read, how to read these numbers and what lies for these companies going ahead, we're being joined on the show by Ashwin Patil, Head of Fundamental Securities, Fundamental Research at LKP Securities, joining us. Ashwin, hi. We're seeing strong growth across segments. Which were the outperformers for you, and are you spotting any trends in the making based on the December numbers?
We can see that the GST 2.0 reforms are playing out really very well for the two-wheeler sector as well, and that too in the mass segment, that is the lower segment, where Hero MotoCorp is having their market leadership position, and therefore, the numbers have actually come above expectations, really, from the market point of view, and going forward, I think that this momentum is going to continue because the momentum is there at the retail end as well. It's not like the inventory is getting dumped at their end. So, they are moving in tandem, like to like, comparison can happen for wholesale as well as retails. So, the rural markets are playing out really very well. There was a marriage season in December, so that has also played well. And going forward, I think, the new launches from TVS as well as Hero MotoCorp, they are expected to do well. Also on the EV side, these companies are performing really very well.
Okay, and let's also talk about the pricing differential between electric vehicles and ICE vehicles, which has come down after GST implementation, GST 2.0 rationalization rather. And even the discounts were higher on electric vehicles in the month of December. How do you expect electric vehicle versus ICE vehicle mix to shape up going forward this year?
Up to some extent, we can say that. But, the EV penetration is also growing. Like we can see, like companies like Ather and all, they are growing in certain markets. Their company, Ather is actually to be, pointed out separately because, they are reporting very strong growth and expanding into different geographies, spreading out their dealerships. There is a lot of room for them to expand and their market share is also growing well. But for others, I would say like companies like Ola and all, they are facing a lot of, difficult times on the market share growth. And as you said, industry-wide, yes, the difference in the price parity is like narrowing. So, if you see from a long-term perspective, maybe like the EVs are here to stay, and the penetration is quite low at this point in time, and we think that going forward, EVs also will have their share within the overall two-wheeler space.
Okay, and Ashwin, talk to us about the electric two-wheeler space. Over there, which player do you see winning in 2026 or any likely top 3 position holders in the entire EV space?
So if you talk about EV segment per se, then as I already said that Ather, also you pointed out that Ather has been doing really very well. Their market share is growing, their losses are narrowing both at EBITDA as well as the PAT levels, and their top line is growing at a very healthy kind of growth. So I think Ather should stand out very well within the EV space. Also, if you in 2025, we have seen that companies like Bajaj Auto and all, they face some certain production issues, and therefore Chetak production was on a lower side, and that's why they got hurt a bit. But now they'll be coming back into the race. Even TVS iQube and TVS Orbiter has got launched within the EV space, so they are also expanding their portfolio. So there will be a lot of competition we can see in 2026, CY 2026. So the EV space is going to get heated up very well. So within the EV space per se, if you ask me, then Ather will be at number 1, following TVS and Bajaj. So Ola will be facing the music once again.
Okay, and let's also talk about your raw material costing then for the industry, for the auto sector as a whole. Now that the safeguard duty has been imposed on steel, do you expect that the upcoming quarter could see some bit of impact on earnings on account of increase in steel costs, if at all steel mills were to go ahead and increase their prices?
If you see, then the steel then crude and rubber, they are, those prices have not grown. So that steel is a big component as far as the automobile industry is concerned. The raw material comprises, a bigger portion coming from steel. And for tractors, like rubber is one of their bigger component. So, companies like the sectors like tractors, will be not very much impacted because of this, because the metals like aluminium, copper, and noble metals, etc., they are growing, at a higher pace. So, those, of course, like copper and aluminium are like important components, but steel is the major component, and steel has not grown really very well. So the margin impact will be limited, but definitely we can see some sort of, softness in margins up to some extent, but not to a great extent, because copper and aluminium will be the villains to play, I would say, as far as the margins are concerned. But I mean, somewhat it will get offset because of the softness in the prices of steel and rubber, also on the crude.
Okay, so appreciate that view. And Ashwin, talk to us about how 2026 is going to be lined up in terms of some of the big launches we're looking ahead to. Anything in particular that's exciting you? Any new launch that you're looking forward to?
Mahindra is coming with, 7XO brand, and also, if there is one more EV that is coming from Mahindra. Then even Hyundai and Maruti are coming up with their, EVs in this year. So, the PV electric vehicle segment is one to watch within the PV space. Also on the two-wheelers, like a lot of variants and like new launches are coming from, that they do keep coming from Hero, Bajaj, etc. So, any particular kind of, I won't say, but like as I said earlier, Mahindra's couple of EVs are to be watched out in 2026.
Okay, so that's the outlook on the auto sector. Ashwin, thanks so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and helping us understand what auto sales numbers for the month of December looked like. Thanks so much for joining us today.
And now on to the Motown show.